We are here with the Total Bellas. It's Nikki and Brie. Hi, ladies. Nice to see you as always.
Good to see you both. How are you feeling?
Good. New York gives you that energy.
It does, doesn't it? Even though it's gloomy out there.
Yeah. I know, but
trying
there's
to
something
stay
about
dry.
the city. Maybe it's all the honking.
It is. We keep thinking of like what bar we're gonna go to later.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing
Then
ones to choose from.
we remember that Birdie's here, and then we're like, oh, room service. Yeah, staying in.
That's right. But we have a good views.
How did
Yeah,
Birdie
you
do
could
with the traveling?
Amazing. We traveled on Mother's Day, so I feel like it was her gift to me. Like,
Yeah.
Mom, I'm gonna be really good on the plane, and she was amazing. And I had Nicole, so having Auntie Coco makes
huge
it.
help.
How many nights have you been in New York so far?
We've been here since Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sunday night. So have you hit up a couple little spots just to kind of relax a little?
Yeah. You.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
I hit up the Polo Bar, which I was.
Oh.
It's always one of my favorite spots.
Yeah. Not just
I've hit
anyone
up room
rolls in the
service.
Polo Bar.
I feel kind of like special. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's dive into this. A lot going on. Obviously, a few things have happened since the last time you were here, and you open up to us about and to the world and to your audience about everything going on, and everyone's tracking along with what's going on with Total Bellas. Of course, the breakup as well with John and everything happening with that. John tweeted this morning saying, "Lack of communication is many times what causes people to drift apart. Lack of forgiveness is many times what causes people to stay apart." Seems like it's about the relationship. What's your reaction to that? How do you feel about that?
It's, I guess, this week has been a crazy media frenzy. I feel like I've had to live a lot of my relationship through the media, with the Today Show and either if it's Instagram or Twitter. But I absolutely adore John. I love him, and I think he's absolutely an amazing man. And does it make it tough that our relationship is so out there? Of course, because here I'm brokenhearted, he's brokenhearted, and you have people saying, oh, they're just doing this for the show, or they're doing it for this, and it's like I'm really going through this. But then again, I have to think I've put my life on reality TV and to the world for 5 years. I'm an open book, so this is what comes with it, and I just have to stay strong.
Yeah.
And thank God I have this one to my left, because between her and wine, it's just really helped me through all of this.
I make sure to be fully stocked all the time.
Yeah, good.
When John tweets something about forgiveness, obviously fans have all these speculations. Have you forgiven John?
And it's funny because there was never anything about forgiveness. What you're actually going to see this season of Total Bellas, that's why, when we were talking before, I cannot wait for Total Bellas to come on air this Sunday, because I feel like there is a lot of whys and whats and all these questions, and you're going to get it answered this season, because you see the journey of why everything is how it is today. Wedding planning was probably the best form of couples therapy. When John said he wanted kids, that wasn't my first time hearing it. It was
On the Today Show, you mean when he said that?
Yeah, and you're going to see that conversation. That's when we called the wedding off in the first place, because he was still no about kids. And I just didn't realize that I had so many issues deep down inside. Now, the lack of communication, that totally was me. And I feel like you really have to make sure you have great communication as a couple. I felt like I hid a lot inside just to be this amazing woman, to sacrifice everything and give this person a perfect life. But when I got closer to the wedding and knowing I had to say those vows and this was forever, I had to think wait, am I gonna live in regret? Is he gonna live in regret? Are we really gonna be happy? And I just wasn't ready yet. But it doesn't take my love away from him at all.
He talked about the lack of communication and all that kind of thing, even during the Today Show when he sort of poured his heart out. What did you feel like you weren't communicating? Was that something you agreed with?
100%.
Yeah.
I have issues with that.
I always had to push her. I'm like, if you get bothered by something, you just lay it on the table. She doesn't have a filter with me, but it's you need to have that with everyone else. And sometimes it's funny because people will watch show and be like, Brie can be a little bossy to Brian, but the minute I feel something, I just say it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I say it out loud, I'm like, okay, maybe it's not as big as a deal as it felt inside, but I don't keep anything inside. And so I'm always pushing Nicole, just say it, just say it. You gotta,
And I like that.
She doesn't,
and I regret that.
Yeah.
I really do regret that. And I've learned, but I think you go through things like these to learn. So if John and I do get back together, I now know, don't walk on eggshells, just communicate and really tell him how you feel.
Yeah. It's okay to cause a little confrontation.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've been by her side through this whole thing. It's a really sad thing to go through, but how have you seen your sister change through this whole journey?
Gosh, I thought my sister was strong, but I'm like, no, she's now really strong. And also, I've seen a lot of bravery in her, I think when you're 3 weeks out of getting married and you have these doubts, you just get married. I probably would have, I don't know. And to be able to sit there and just be like, I'm feeling this. I feel like if we look in some crystal ball down the line, maybe you might not really want to be a dad, or maybe not this. The fact that she was able to be in John's shoes and her own and just take that big, brave step and say, let's hold off. I mean, that's courage. And like, it gives me goosebumps thinking about that because, you know, not everyone has that kind of strength. So that's what I've seen in my sister the last couple months. I'm like, whoa, like, is this whole woman movement that just like rubbed off on you? I'm like,
A lot of strength.
Well, that is great. And it's also interesting to hear that that was something. I mean, look, we see you as very strong women in general, but in these particular more personal, maybe vulnerable things, to be able to take that step. Here's the thing. He poured his heart out on the Today Show.
Yeah.
You have said that you hope things work out to some degree. I mean, what would have to change in order to walk down the aisle right now?
Nothing has to change. I just need time.
Okay.
Because, you know, and you're going to see on the show when we did call it off the first time, the minute it was like a week or two later, he said he wanted kids, and I ran right back, not even fixing myself and ignoring all the other issues, just that the kid issue now was, you know, okay, that's complete. Now he wants it. And I think a healthy me is a healthy us. And I think especially as women, we sometimes put everyone else first and we forget about us, and how much there's a part of me that just wants to run back and make it right, especially with the negativity of everything. I want to be protected by John. I just want to run back into his arms, but I need to stay strong and know that I really have to fix me, because I want, like, whether it's John or someone else, I want to make that man the happiest man, but I want to make me happy too, and I want us both to be happy. And so I've realized that I just really need to work on me. And
we're really big on like walking down the aisle once.
Yeah.
And making that
Let that be the real thing.
I mean,
so
and I was gonna have an amazing wedding, and it was gonna be a
geez,
1 hour
you'll see it on
special on
the
the E Network,
season.
and it was gonna be
I was like, are you sure?
Cinderella. But I just didn't want to do that again. I don't want to be like the other people that call their wedding, they go get married, and then 30 days later they're
off, right.
yeah. That's real to me, and those vows are real, and I only want to do that once.
Yeah, speaking on that, you had this wedding planned. Obviously, I can imagine putting your lives out there and the media, there's going to be haters, everyone. Some people are saying they think it's a hoax. Well, how does that make you feel, and what's your reaction to people thinking this whole thing is a setup or a hoax?
It makes me sad because I'm a human being, and like, I feel like every night I've gone back to my hotel room and I've cried, because it's like hard to go through all of this, and I'm putting on a brave face, but then my brave face, people are like, oh, she's faking it, or she's this, and it's like, no, I'm just trying to be really strong right now. I have this amazing show that I want to do really well, not only for myself, but for my family, for the WWE, for the E Network. So it's really hard for me, because here I give myself to the world, and then you give yourself, and then this is what you can get back. But then I look at the positivity of the people that have said positive things, or when I have gone on some of these shows, and some of the women that have pulled me inside and given me the most inspiring words.
Yeah.
And so that really helps. And I know once the show airs, there's so many people that have been through my shoes or are going through my shoes and don't have that strength and courage, and now they're gonna know they're not alone. So that's what keeps me strong.
Part, I think, obviously, of what brings about that sentiment for people watching that are skeptical or whatever is because it's all on TV, right? So here's John on the Today Show making this heartfelt plea. Was there any part of you that watched that and thought, I wish he would have just given me a phone call instead of told the world?
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Especially because it was during this week, like a crazy week.
That you were doing press and
Yeah.
everything coming up, even on the Today Show moments later. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
One thing
like
I
days
told
later.
my sister is heartbreak, you never know how you're going to react. Some people close themselves off. Some people just can't stop talking about it because they don't know what to do. And I was telling her, I'm like, this is John's way of handling it. And your way of handling it is just shutting down and being quiet. And, you know, you can't get mad at someone for wanting to pour their heart out if it makes them feel better, because they're not feeling good right now. And, you know, the same with her. And so I have to remind her of those things. Like, you never know how you'll be.
And
like,
the Today Show's home for him.
Right.
He's very close to Kathy Lee and Hoda. And I think, you guys know how it is.
Yeah,
In that
yeah.
comfortable environment. I even know with reality TV, that's why we put a lot of things
Yeah.
out there with Brie mode and
my
all this
God.
stuff. You get into an environment you're comfortable with, and you just start talking, and then you're like, oh, wait, I was on live TV.
Yeah. Did everything that he said there resonate with you in a positive way? Was there anything that was like, buddy, that's not what we talked about the last time we spoke, or something like
Yeah.
that? I don't know.
I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't seen the whole thing.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, wow.
I've only
Is it
seen a
hard
clip.
to
It's just
watch?
hard to watch.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't seen the full, I think it's 7 minutes.
It was long. I watched the whole thing more than once. I was just like, what? I really was.
I just feel like it would be so hard not to text him or call him and just say, can you not talk about this on TV?
Right, and I mean, the thing is, we're best friends. We're still in communication, but I haven't brought it up.
Oh, so you've been actually texting and calling?
John and I talk, and I have not brought up about the Today Show.
Wow.
Well, I like that because he probably really wants you to. Right? It's like, well, maybe not.
No, the wedding was supposed to take place May 5th. How did you end up spending that day for both of you?
With me.
With her and Bernie, and then my two best friends, Katie and Shauna, we actually, us four, went to just a nice, quiet dinner. I wanted to go somewhere where there wasn't a lot of people, and we watched the sunset, had some amazing wine.
And we started with champagne. Don't forget.
Oh, we did. I forgot. We did. Oh,
We got a bottle
Great
of
champagne.
Joe wedding.
And then onto the wine.
And yeah, and that was it. I was in bed early, and so it was just kind of weekend that I was like looking at the minutes, like go faster, go faster.
Yeah, I'm sure that honestly would have been very tough. Brie, of course, let's talk about Birdie, which we've mentioned a few times. She just turned 1.
Just turned 1.
You said that she's growing in her sassiness, right? She's gaining a lot of
yes.
sass. What is some examples of that? Like, how is she getting
gosh.
more sassy?
Well, she loves Nicole and doesn't want Nicole to go anywhere, but if you tell her no, she wants to slap Nicole. Like,
I
really-
get it all. I'm like, what? How did I turn into the punching bag
Yeah.
of Coco?
like I'll be like, no, Birdie, and she'll look at Coco and be
me, like, how dare her
Yeah.
slap me? And I'm like, oh.
And then, like, if I'm like, okay, we need to do this, yes, we do, she'll go. And I'm like, wait a second, what? It's just crazy. It's like, and she's very stubborn. I like to think she gets that after my husband.
Some other people might disagree.
But she's the sweetest baby. Besides wanting to slap Coco around, she's so sweet.
I think they're love tap.
Yeah, she just
Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
1 on May 9th. Any
Yeah.
big milestones? Is she crawling? Did she say anything yet?
So she, oh my gosh, actually what she did on her birthday, you guys, it's so sweet. So my husband, he's been overseas wrestling with WWE, and so he was very upset that he was missing her first birthday.
So I was filming,
she's
by the
filming
way.
this,
Filming them
and we're
FaceTime so I could send
FaceTiming
it to
Brian, and she goes, Dada. And we all were like,
Oh,
and
I'm
then
like,
she goes,
You're just there for the moment, right?
and
That's
filming it for them. They
Brian's
have it now
just
on
like
film.
crying, but and then she just goes da 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 da, in like the highest, cutest voice, like me. She's like mama, and I'm like, and then with Brian, it's like da da.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like kind of
I
crazy.
mean, he had to feel great about that, right? I remember
I
that
mean,
first moment. It
so
really
now
has
it's
changed.
like,
Yeah,
oh.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
So now he just like, it's really cute. She does it now all the time, but only when we FaceTime him. Isn't
Whenever
it weird?
she sees his face.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, look, you've got this great connection, other than getting smacked around with Birdie. I mean, has that experience even reassured you more and more that, like, hey, kids is definitely my thing, or is it any wavering at all?
Birdie started everything.
Okay.
The moment she came into this world, I think
lit
it's
the
because even though she's not my daughter, it's the first time I've ever experienced unconditional love. And so I'm like, I really want this for myself. And don't get me wrong, it's also been a really good form of birth control that I wanted to wait for a while because seeing not only her labor,
Nice sleepless
but,
nights.
and you're gonna see this on this season of Total Bellas, how we make a comeback to the Royal Rumble, which is the first ever
Yeah.
Women's Royal Rumble for the WWE, extremely historic. Seeing her balance that and how we have our companies, Bella Radici and Brittany B, how she balances it all with Birdie, I feel like I need naps. And I'm like, I can't do this right now. Like, I give it to career moms because to me that is so beyond like difficult. So I have massive baby fever, but I want to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a stay-home mom, I give them a lot of credit
Yeah.
too, because you're there.
I need to
all
save
day
my
with
money
babies.
because I want a night nurse and I want a nanny.
Yeah.
So I have my own savings account now.
Just for that.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know, I'm like, oh,
The
man.
lifestyle savings account.
Yes,
That's what that's
exactly.
It's exhausting,
So
but I love
Birdie
it.
really changed everything. Did that really kind of solidify that you definitely want kids, and then regarding your relationship, like that made you even more sure that this was the right path to end things?
It was just the path. Like, it definitely made me say yes, I want kids, and I'm not the type of woman, and I don't think this is my lack of communication, but I'm not the type of woman to be like, you better have kids with me or else. I remember just telling John, like, I want us both to be happy, and I want to be a mom, and you don't want to be a dad, and I think, maybe we go our separate ways, because I would never force him. And that's kind of like where we're at right now is I told him to make a list, and I have to make a list, and what makes us so happy for the rest of our life, and what are the things we want, because I don't want him to ever live in regret. And I think it's not a decision you can't make super quick. You really got to take time by yourself to think, what do I really want? So that's why I never forced. I know some people are like, well, just say this and make them. I would never, ever want to have a baby
why would
with
you under
someone
those
like
circumstances
that.
want to move forward, of course. So you're both making lists
Yeah.
to kind of compare, to compare notes,
Yeah,
literally on...
literally compare notes.
Okay.
It's totally John and I's personality.
Okay.
That's why he and I work so well. We're the king and queen of like to-do list. And literally, we will have the best dinner when we both know we checked off everything of our to-do list that day. Like, we'll talk about like how
pretty
nice
crazy.
was it?
Yeah,
I mean,
that is crazy.
Yeah,
So
we like love it.
If he puts kids on that list and couple that with now the Today Show confession that he's ready that he wants to start a family, is that? I mean, do you believe he's had a legit change of heart with regard to kids?
100%.
Yeah. You know that now.
I do. I truly think that he wants to be a father. I think John's gonna make an incredible dad. I mean, you see everything he does with Make-A-Wish. That's why I always knew. I'm like,
No,
he's
he's got
meant to
the
be
thing.
a dad.
Yeah.
And it's just, I need time. I need time to digest.
All right.
But that obviously does kind of flip it back to, oh, if our lists are lining up, maybe this is the person I'm supposed to be with and have a family with.
Yeah.
She also wants to raise her kids in San Diego. That's on the list.
Okay.
And be
what
San
else is
Diego
on the
full
list?
I got very
time.
Okay.
specific.
Yeah.
Once
Like-
you go through all this, you have to give yourself time. So I'm like, I want to be very specific on like what I want out of life and what makes me happy. Being around my family makes me happy.
If you walk down the aisle again with him, will it be bigger or smaller than what this current one was planned, this wedding?
It won't be filmed. I think that's one thing that I'm not going to do, is I'm not going to film it, and I want to keep it intimate. Just for us and our family and our best friends.
That makes
Do you think
sense.
that put a lot more pressure on the whole situation?
It definitely puts pressure. I can only imagine what Megan's going through right now.
Oh gosh.
I think the pressure I felt, I'm like, whoa, amen to you, sister. I can't even
Every second is
imagine.
something new in the media.
I mean, poor thing, but she's gonna be such a gorgeous bride. I cannot wait to see what she wears. I mean, all of us, right? I'm like, what's the dress gonna
Yeah.
look like?
That's what everyone's
Are you
watching.
guys going to be watching the royal wedding?
I mean, I'm
We
not
said
gonna
we're not
set
gonna
my
wake up
alarm
early.
clock, but
It's a sleeping
I'll
day
watch
for
later.
us.
Yeah, I'll watch later.
But
for
I'll be
sure.
excited when I wake up and have my coffee to like catch
yeah,
up
you
on
and I will
everything.
totally.
Yeah, we'll be talking like the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking babies, Brie, you made a pretty epic comeback to the Royal Rumble. What's been the most challenging part about getting back into it post-baby?
Ooh, I think gosh, it was crazy because I didn't think this would happen to me, but I think looking at myself and just being like, okay, Brie Bella looked like this before Birdie. Brie Bella looks very different now, and I have to accept that. You know, I wanted to put on my old gear, but, you know, I still have a lot of like changes that I'm going through, and it was like changing my gear and not showing my stomach and finding the confidence to go out there and just be like, are the fans going to accept the new Brie? And they did, which I think
She got the craziest reaction.
Really?
I didn't
So
think people
amazing.
thought I was gonna come
I saw
out.
like
Yeah.
this smile on her face,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
People are so excited to see you back, right?
Right,
So-
It's
and
just like, wow,
Birdie
she's
was
doing it.
only
Yeah.
8 months, so I think a lot of people just didn't think I'd be ready. And you see me on Total Bellas like training for it because in-ring shape is
And of course,
not
we
like,
get an argument training for
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
but it's not like, you know, other type of training. You just have to keep wrestling
Yeah.
and wrestling. But yeah, it was a surreal feeling.
So we see it in Total Bellas, and we obviously following your Instagram and everything else. We've seen your transformation. But when it comes to, I don't know. My wife went through this. There's a real identity shift that happens, right?
Oh,
and like you're a public figure, and you've got that. And so, will we see some of that part in terms of how you're dealing with your personal
Yeah.
identity? And there's the physical thing, but then there's the mental part too. like
100%.
Figuring out who you are.
And I think what it is being a first-time mom, I didn't know how hard it was going to be. When I was pregnant, I took 5 naps a day. I slept and ate whatever. I did whatever I wanted. And it rocked my world. It really did. I thought I could be a career woman and not like adjust anything and just have this baby step into my life, and I was completely wrong. It's
But
funny.
you have done amazing as
Thank
a career
you.
woman.
But one thing I do say is like, you know, we always talk about Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman is not a mom. She's not married. So trying to balance your marriage and give my husband attention and my baby and my 2
And
companies.
your twin sister.
Yeah. Hello.
I require a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And a lot lately.
Yeah. I know. I'm not
No,
gonna
this is
sleep
the real Wonder Woman right here.
Real
Yeah.
Wonder, you know,
Yeah.
and you see me go through a lot of that. And I did get to a point, like, I'll admit, and I'm ashamed of it, but I was embarrassed about my body. And I'm like, Brie, you gave birth, like, get over it. And you see me overcome that. And then I started, like, posing in our Birdie Bee underwear. And I'm like,
Yeah.
F it. I have stretch marks. I have a jiggly belly right now. Like, at emergency C-section, like, screw it. It's taking me a long time to lose baby weight. I don't care.
I think that's so amazing. And
Yeah.
you're
Thank you.
such a good role model for women everywhere.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
That means a lot.
We can tell, obviously, you love being a mom. Any talk about expanding the family? Any more kids?
Gosh, my husband is dying to like have baby number 2. I said in 2019 we can start trying. I would love
Late
late.
2019.
One more
Like-
little story at WWE. I would love to get back in the ring, even if it was another fun thing like the Royal Rumble. I miss the ring a lot.
You mean you don't want to fight Ronda Rousey? Because I know I do.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, hello.
And there is another duo at WWE who I'd like to have
Take
her and
on,
I.
yeah.
Yes. And also, we're doing a lot with our wine right now, and we all know my husband won't let me drink wine pregnant. So I'm like, let me just taste. Like, we need more grapes and do like these different things.
Blame it on the wine company as long
I
as
know.
you can.
Oh,
Wow, we got a lot rolling out.
He said I
Three
can get
lines.
this for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm headed to Napa next week, and I'm like, business trip. Like,
Well, it's funny because I
which
just
it's
had a
not.
scare, and my husband was so excited, and I was like, Nicole and I were like, no, this can't be. Like,
I was like, so matter. But this is the best. Is like, we're like, yeah, Brie had a scare, and Brian's like, there's no such thing. You're pregnant. You're not pregnant. We're like, well, no, but we thought she was.
yeah,
And he's
I was 9 days
don't-
late.
It's so Brian to
Yeah.
be like, I don't understand that. Like,
Yeah.
there's no such thing. I'm like,
he
yeah, there
literally
is.
doesn't think that a scare exists. I'm like, Brian, what? That's my husband.
You mentioned Ronda Rousey. Did she ask for any advice as she kind of enters your world? Have you guys had conversations about it?
So sweet. And
It's
she does.
insane.
She is just wanting to pick all the girls' brains and just learn from them. Like, I can't even tell you what a joy it's been for her to be there. And then just what I hear from the other girls of how much they're enjoying working with her and how much she wants to learn.
Well, and at this past WrestleMania, she blew our minds. Like, she
did
did amazing.
incredible.
Like, she deserves to be in the women's division, and she's bringing a lot of light to it, which is so great. So we're so lucky to have her.
So
Yeah.
she's more sweet than intense. I feel
Yes.
like she's so-
Very sweet.
Yeah.
I know, and it's cute because she has that smile that's so like engaging. It draws you in, and then the minute it goes like, you're like, wait.
Yeah.
It's like a panther, like a lion that plays, and then it gets up, and you're like, wait, is it gonna attack
like,
me?
I think, yeah, it's bad news.
Can I
now.
run?
I actually would like to see you go against Ronda.
Me too.
I would love it.
You think
Yeah,
she'd break your arm?
Especially, no, I'd break hers.
Oh. Hello, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Psych.
We're sending this video to her right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this really quickly before we let you go. You've talked about your other businesses. Look, clothing company, wine, all this. Is there another area that you plan on going next? Is there something on the horizon? I mean, not that you need, you need to add something else to your
Right.
plate, right? But I don't know, maybe there's something on the bucket list.
I would definitely love to just get involved in more charities. We do some work, but I just want to be more involved in like different foundations and really giving back. Like Birdie Bee gives back, but I want to just get so much more involved with that.
Yeah, we always talk about that. I think you spend so much time in your companies and being a mom and stuff that sometimes you're like, when you have a little time off, you're like, happy hour or like, what are we gonna do? And her
I mean,
and
well,
I,
happy hour will never change.
yeah, I'm just
But-
saying. But her and I are like, you know what? Like, we got to give more back to the community.
And I want to do an action film.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love, especially I would love to play a villain. I
Oh,
don't
well,
wanna do
you're so
superhero.
natural at being
It's
a
too
villain.
bad you don't
Yeah,
know
I am.
anyone like close that does a lot of movies and stuff.
I
You could
know,
make some
right?
calls, kind of arrange some things.
I might have
Like there's one thing on the list. There's one final thing on this list.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
As she adds that on
Yeah, action movie. And then
co-star.
yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith Part 2.
Actually, great idea.
Right?
I am going to put that.
We churn out ideas on these couches so often.
Again.
I mean, I could
Do you think
look.
that could happen? I feel like it could happen.
I know, it would be amazing. I think it could happen.
Yeah.
So who's all tuning in?
Yes.
Hands are all
I
up.
would too.
Ladies, thank you so
Thank
much for
you
being
so
here
much.
and for sharing
Thank
everything
you.
with us. Total Bellas Season 3. We can't wait this Sunday.